Today95.1 FM. Just go ahead, like that page, go on that particular post, and let's get what you want to react to. Of course, capturing the particular story. We've got joining us this morning, Fine Face Namini Fine Face is an environmental justice activist and an executive director, Youths and Environmental Advocacy Center. Good to have you this morning.
Good morning, Annie. Good morning, Rivers people. Thank you for joining us.
All right, so let's get to it. 774,000 jobs. I have PMD's nod to proceed with recruitment exercise. President Muhammad Buhari has given Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, the go-ahead to continue with the plan of recruiting 774,000 Nigerians under the extended Special Public Works Program, despite protests by the National Assembly. The minister, who confirmed the development to journalists in Abuja yesterday, said he has the fresh instructions of Mr. President to proceed with the recruitment exercise. In his words, and we're quoting, "I have fresh instructions to proceed with the program as directed by him and to continue to supervise the program in accordance with the law. I stress it, in accordance with the law." End of quote. Meanwhile, when the leadership reached out to the Senate spokesman, Senator Jibola Basiru, for reaction to the development, he declined comments, saying he cannot exchange words with the junior Minister of Labor and Employment in order not to disrespect the president. It is, however, expected that the Senate might formally react before the end of today through the Senate President Ahmed Lawan or Senator Basiru. President Buhari had approved the engagement of 774,000 Nigerians under the Special Public Works Program or the National Directorate of Employment to cushion the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. So Keyamo says, look, I've spoken to the president. He said, go ahead with the job, my boy. I am with thee.
Yeah, even though I supported Keyamo in terms of whatever transpired between them in the National Assembly, or that committee meeting. And I also know very well that the president is the head of the executive. I think it won't be nice, the steps he's taking, just to tell Keyamo, go ahead. Because there was a row between Keyamo and those in that committee. What I expected the president to do, perhaps to reach out to the leadership of the National Assembly. In fact, 2 days will be enough to finish that particular issue. Now, you see, why would you people be encroaching on this? Whichever techniques you are going to use, you now settle that particular issue with Senate President. And that settles it. It goes back home and tell the people, shield your sword, let us continue with this. And then Keyamo will go ahead. Because I have said, yes, they also, because of the oversight function, which is, of course, statutorily endowed in them, they certainly have a right to say, no, because we are not clear with this, suspend this. But if you want to make it a gentleman agreement and all that, he reaches to the National Assembly leadership. Because his position as the president and head of executive, the position as the head of executive transcends the executive. He is the president of Nigeria. He can also be the president of these senators also. So he should liaise with them. But not just as it looks as if you hear one side from Keyamo, your minister, you say, go ahead. I think he was talking more problem because nobody knows exactly the reaction of the National Assembly members.
All right, we've got your thoughts there. Let's get to Fight Face to the minute.
Yeah, it's good to hear that the president has given him the go-ahead, like he also said earlier. But I never expected him to make that comment. That statement would have come from the Minister for Information and Communications, and Culture, Lai Mohammed, because him is like he's fighting alone in this fight. So I think that the presidential spokesman or Lai Mohammed, any of them should have come out to say that the president have reiterated his call and directive for the junior Minister of Labor and Productivity to be in charge of that. And whatever it may be, I think that the function of recruitment, like the Senate had also noted, falls within the purview of the National Directorate of Employment. Yeah, but whatever it is, I think that the Ministry of Labor and Productivity serve as a kind of oversight, does some oversight on that. So they need to collaborate and work together. I don't really support 100% control of that recruitment by the junior minister.
Like he said, he's supervising.
Yeah,
he never said he was controlling. He said in supervising, that means he's working alongside the NDE.
Perfect.
In fact, he said the plan was submitted to him by the NDE. So it was more of an approval. And then they went on to commission the different committees via states. So it seemed as if he and the NDE had a handshake over this issue.
Yeah.
But the thing again was when they had the DG for the NDE before the Senate, at one point when they asked him of the 20-man committee, he said he knew of 8.
It was blank.
And he didn't know the rest. I mean, it did seem as if there were gray areas
Yeah.
that needed highlighting. So I will hate that, because of this, somehow the Senate can't deep further into the issues that are murky here. So how is it that I would want everybody to be on the same page? So the NDE knows what's going on, this junior minister understands what's going on, and the Senate knows what's going on.
Yeah.
The fact that, because this is an executive initiative, therefore there's a limit to how much the Senate can investigate. Remember, the monies that are going to be used to pay these people
passed through the Senate, and Nigerians' money. I think it should be so. And they should go further to also a kind of proof and investigate other failed employment that has been carried out in this country, especially the one that was done before that a lot of Nigerians died trying to be recruited into, I think it custom then or what?
Immigration.
Immigration.
Was it immigration? Yes, it was immigration.
Boro.
It was immigration indeed. All right. So let's get on to another story here. This other story has the caption, ECOWAS appoints ex-President Jonathan as special envoy as part of efforts aimed at resolving the worsening social-political situation in Mali. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has been appointed as a special envoy for the West African nation. The high-profile appointment was given to Jonathan on Tuesday, July 14th, by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. As part of his duties, the former Nigerian leader is to convene a series of talks with President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, opposition bigwigs, civil society, as well as religious bodies. Mali has been engulfed in political unrest following the outcome of the elections conducted in March and April, and local displeasure over the current administration's handling of insurgency and unstable economy. It seems like it's another star of, peace. I don't know how to call it. Peace what? And
He's a peacemaker.
A peacemaker, exactly. On the crest for the former president. He's had several ever since his tenure was over.
You see, the juicy position of president of Nigeria makes people sit tight on it, even if they lose any election. But Jonathan was able to say, okay, I have lost President Buhari, I congratulate you. That, of course, symbolizes him as a peacemaker. I think he marries that particular position since it's something of settlement of grievances. So let him go there and then do the job. But let him also exhibit whatever activities that will now make those who repose confidence in him believe more in him. As far as peace is concerned, I think he showcased that.
Yeah. All right. Fireface?
Yes, I think the recognitions are coming. This is not the first time he's been appointed to run such thing, and all boiled down to the fact that he conceded defeat in 2015, unlike other African leaders. And I think it's a way of the world, the leaders of Africa and the world, recognizing the fact that if you do something good, you have reward. So they are reinforcing that good thing he did by appointing him to be going about preaching peace and what have you. And what Jonathan did in 2015 should be one of the legacies that every other leader in this country should do when they are defeated at the poll. We must come over a situation whereby you are defeated and you keep going to court and then making sure and not wanting to accept defeat. And it should cut across Africa, because if Jonathan continues on the path he is going to make impact through the foundation that he has also set up, I believe that he's on the path of becoming the next, Madiba of Africa.
That'll be nice. If that will come from our stables, I'll be excited about that. At least it's something positive coming from here. When you're looking for a peace initiator, they don't come our way. All right, so ECOWAS appoints ex-President Jonathan as special envoy. This is from the Leadership newspaper. Let's move on to another story, and that's also from the newspaper, the Leadership newspaper. PMB minister working hard to solve power problem. This is coming from Salihijo. Says the managing director and chief executive officer of Rural Electrification Agency, Alhaji Ahmed Salihijo Ahmed, has said the President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of State for Power, Mr. Agba Godi, are working hard to ensure that power problem is solved. Salihijo, while speaking during a Zoom program, appreciated the support of President Muhammadu Buhari in making sure the problem of electricity is put to an end. According to Salihijo, the stakeholders are ready to accelerate electrification for the unserved and underserved communities in Nigeria, insisting that it will be achieved very soon. He said World Bank is interested on their projects because of the positive effect on the rural population, adding that it's also a key consideration of the present administration. We shared solution-driven thoughts on the relevance of energy in healthcare delivery, as well as the undeniable impacts the clean, safe, and reliable energy will continue to have in the lives of community members in unserved and underserved areas, Ahmad said. So for a long time, I've kept hearing of this rural electrification project. It's popping up every now and then. For a while, we forget about it, and somehow it sneaks into the news again. We have the MD and Chief Executive Officer of Rural Electrification Agency speaking, and he says the President and the Junior Minister for Power are working hand in hand and closely to ensure that this problem is solved. For someone like me, I've just had enough of, the commentary on the issues. I like to see that they've set up shop, and then we're seeing them actually digging through and placing whatever infrastructure they need to make sure that the unserved and the underserved, when it comes to electricity, are finally getting it.
Well, I think I'm not moved at all because when you tell me PMB and the Minister of State for, is it
for power?
Good. Are working. I'll be from there. I have problems. Because what else will PMB do than any fundamental need for the country to make it realizable? And he will be happy to see it sell through. The same thing with the Minister of State for Power. So for me, I think seeing will be believing. Let us see exactly concrete action from them. It's not just promising us there's a silver lining in the horizon. The lining could also turn into another thing. But until we see them realized.
All right.
There is nothing to celebrate about those comments. We've been hearing them right from Obasanjo time and even before then, that we'll have rural electrification. These things won't work. And the reason why it is not working and will never work is because it is centralized at the center. You can't talk about rural electrification in Abuja. It should be talked about at the state level and then decentralized to the local government level that are closer to these communities. And before you know, you will have a minimum of 774 units within the various council areas in Nigeria, having people going to the communities to begin to do this work. It can be done in Abuja. And that is why even power problem in Nigeria generally cannot be achieved, because everything is centralized. This thing needs to be decentralized at zonal level, state level, so that we can achieve them.
All right. That's it on rural electrification. Let's move on. And this other story here from the leadership newspaper, Edo 2020, Obasaki's incumbency will not work. That's from Silva. And it says here that the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, has declared that the Edo State governorship election is a must-win for the All Progressives Congress, adding that the whole of the South-South region were in agreement with the fact. The minister, however, said the power of incumbency will not favor the incumbent governor, Godwin Obaseki, who he said was currently operating under a stolen mandate. Silva, who spoke to journalists at the end of the contact and mobilization subcommittee meeting ahead of the upcoming Edo gubernatorial elections, also stated that the party will do all to forestall a repeat of the Bayelsa experience. All of us in the South-South believe that this election must be won. Edo State is our only APC state in the South-South. A few months ago, as you're all aware, they took Bayelsa State from us through the back door after we won the election. And now through the back door again, they have taken Edo State, but luckily we have the opportunity of reclaiming Edo State in a few weeks from now. And every South-South APC member is of the consensus that we must reclaim Edo. It is our stronghold in the region, and therefore we're all geared up and we will go to Edo State. We want to assure you that you should not entertain any doubts that Edo State will be an APC state very soon, come the election in September. While speaking on Governor Obaseki's chances at the polls, he said election is not all about finance. First, if you say the power of incumbency, it is an APC incumbency, and that has been stolen by the PDP. So that kind of incumbency has a comma, And that is why we believe that such incumbency will not work. The Edo people know that Edo State is for APC, and I want to assure you that we're in touch with our people in Edo State, and we know that we are the dominant party in Edo State, and we're going to win this election. A lot of positivity coming there.
Well, I would have been very much aghast if Silva had said otherwise, because you know the position he occupies in this country. He would have been running the risk of losing being the junior minister for petroleum. So he will say, in fact, anything that is more glowing, he will hit them on Ize that is the APC. But I tell you, if Silva is saying all the positive things he should also remember that Obaseki was bludgeoned into stealing that mandate over to APC, or rather PDP. Because whatever happened in Bayelsa, we all know, but there's a party that said we can make do with this, now forget about what will happen later. Obaseki was shopping for where to stay, but there was no room for him. And so he has to clutch at any straw that gave itself to him. Now, that side, I don't see him as having committed any political sin, as it were. But the incumbency factor, working or not, depends on Edo people. If Silva is saying as he has the hip positivity on the side of APC, yes, I expect him to say so. But PDP will also come out and tell you Obaseki will win. Let us see after the election.
All right.
Well, that's how politicians speak. But looking at it from historical perspective, I remember that sometimes in Bayelsa he contested over some time he couldn't win, and then the immediate past election he delivered because the APC was brought in, but then the courts upturned the whole process. But be that as it may, I think what he's saying now is what we call a figure of speech we call prolepsis. When you say something that has not happened as if it has come, happened and passed, and you are at the big point. Now, the point remains that the incumbent governor of Edo State, who is now a PDP member, still has that power as the governor of the state, and the resources of the state is at his disposal. Whether the EFCC comes after, that's a different issue. But as it is now, the resources is there. And I know that Silva, being a minister of, petroleum resources, junior minister, has the resources too, and then he has the security. INEC is there; it's expected to be neutral, but the power to get this done is beyond vote buying, which is what I think they are aiming at there now, to buy votes from the people. But whatever it is, I am calling on Edo people to vote their conscience and get the person that should rule them. And they should stop heating up the polity so that we don't have electoral violence before, during, and after the elections.
All right, got your thoughts too on that. Let's move on. And we have here from the Guardian newspaper, Nigeria's first female combat helicopter pilot, Arotile, dies. That story was taken from the Guardian newspaper. Nigeria's first ever female combat helicopter pilot, flying officer Tolulope Arotile, is dead. Spokesman to the Nigeria Air Force, Ibukule Daramola, announced her death in a statement late on Tuesday. Daramola disclosed that Arotile died as a result of head injuries sustained from a road traffic accident at NAF base in Kaduna State, northern Nigeria. Arotile, according to Daramola, died barely a year after she was winged as a combat helicopter pilot in the Air Force following the completion of her course in South Africa. The NAF spokesman described Arotile's career as one of impactful service who contributed significantly to the efforts to rid the North Central states of armed bandits and other criminal elements by flying several combat missions under Operation Gamma Aiki in Mina, Niger State. We pray that the Almighty God grants her soul eternal rest. Arotile hails from Ife in Ijumu local government area of Kogi State. She was commissioned into the NAF in September 2017 as a member of the Nigerian Defense Academy Regular Course 64, and later became the first ever female combat pilot, helicopter pilot in the service in Nigeria. Such, an irony. You think that, for somebody whose career was that in active combat against insurgents within that period of bandits in that area, and that she was a combat helicopter pilot. If we're told she was supposed to die from any accident, it would be from her being in a mission or something. But this was because of a road accident. And barely a year after she was just winged to become a combat pilot. And from what I discovered, she was doing pretty well in discharging her duties.
Well, quite unfortunate that what happened to her did. The fact remains that her career, especially, was the one to be reckoned with, being that it looks as if the monopoly for such is
Moving
for
for
men.
men.
But then she broke into the midst and then performed well to the point of being crowned her position. But of course, death is common to men. Whatever
Indeed.
happens, she has gone.
Well, it is unfortunate, and we really think that the cause of that auto crash be investigated, and then whatever may have caused it be taken as a way of ensuring that such thing don't happen again in the future. It's not that she is over special than every other, and every Nigerian is equal before the law. But whatever it is, I think it is the duty of even the road safety to investigate every accident, and the outcome of that investigation used to sensitize motorists on the road so that we can reduce accidents on the road. Look at the human power, the manpower, the brain, and the skills we are losing as a result of this. It's unfortunate, and may also rest in peace.
Indeed. And I think maybe the special attention will be that she's the first female
Yeah.
wing
Yeah.
combat helicopter pilot. A lot of females don't go in there. So I'm going to wonder when next we're going to see another one
yeah.
in that field. And she was very young, too. That's another thing. Anyways, like we all
Well,
said.
the way she came, another person will eventually come.
Well, Emmanuel, we know how long it took for her to emerge. All right, let's move on. Another story here in The Guardian. It says Senate NDDC in fresh row over alleged missing 143 billion naira. It says that there is fresh crisis between the National Assembly and the Niger Delta Development Commission due to its failure to explain the whereabouts of 143 billion naira being part of the 305 billion naira released to the agency in the 2019 budget. The altercations that ensued between the National Assembly's Joint Committee on Niger Delta Affairs and officials of the NDDC led to the suspension of the budget defense session on Tuesday in Abuja. NDDC's interim management committee, led by Professor Pondai, had appeared before the committee to defend its 2019 budget expenditure in addition to presenting the Commission's 2020 budget proposal. While presenting the 2019 budget expenditure before the committee, Pondai told the lawmakers that NDDC received 305.5 billion in 2019 and spent 122 billion naira from leaving a balance of 183.2 billion. Pondai stated that in compliance with provisions of the 2019 Appropriation Act, the NDDC implemented the 2019 capital budget till May 31st. On expenditure, implementation of the 2019 budget was hindered by delays in its approval and release, coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic. Only recurrent expenditure, which runs from January 1st to December 31st, 2019, was implemented substantially. But Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on NDDC, Olubumi Tunji-Ojo, pointed out that there were discrepancies in the processes, adding that a shortfall of 143 billion had arisen. The commission is expected to bring forward a balance of 183.2 billion in the 2020 budget proposal, but the report submitted to the committee showed that only 40 billion was brought forward. When Chairman House Committee on Niger Delta queried Pondai on the discrepancies, Pondai requested for a withdrawal of the 2019 budget details to address discrepancies of 143 billion Tunji-Ojo raised. The lawmakers were, however, angry when Pondai asked for withdrawal of the 2019 budget review for representation. Chairman, Senate Committee on NDDC, Peter Nwoboshi, granted Pondai's request and adjourned the budget presentation till next week, Tuesday. He explained that of the 305.5 billion released for the NDDC in 2019 budget, it spent 122.3 billion, and the balance brought forward had to be 183 billion, but the NDDC brought only 40 billion, leaving out 143. Well, I don't know why they're upset. If the NDDC says, oh, really? We didn't know what for 50 billion. Bring it back. Let's go back and review what we did. I don't know why they're angry about that. They should give them and let them go sort them and come back again.
For me, I didn't see anything wrong in looking for a withdrawal. To go back and sit, this financial controller of NDDC should also join Pondai, and then looking at the whole thing with a tooth comb. I tell you.
But I mean, the only thing it tells me is why didn't they look at the whole thing with tooth comb before they presented it?
Maybe in a hurry. Let's give it to them. No, they are very much in a hurry.
In that kind of process, you're hurrying.
But now they've seen where the hurry took them to. So they will go back and not be in a hurry. But you see, I always say that the head should indeed try to look into several things. Mm-hmm. Why is Pondai not aware of what is in the budget and what happened to bring the discrepancy, so that he will explain it with the speed of light and with greater fluency? But now It has already, the issue about NDC. It has not shown them. They may eventually bring that one up, but it has already painted them in suspicious manner. Whatever be the case, I think the senators are right to point that discrepancy and let them go and bring it. NDC is becoming too much.
All right.
I think the last time I checked, I think Ponda is a prof also. He's a professor. And,
They didn't remove the crown.
yeah, and this incident reminded me of what happened during the 2015 elections, where a professor, even with lantern, could not call figures. And when you have challenges like this, I believe that you ought to have sat down over that document and look at it. We are talking about billions here that are missing in the document. I know that NDDC had been a place where anything goes. What had happened in NDDC from the time of creation till now that we are having little questioning had been like the period of military administration in Nigeria, whereby the militaries were in charge, holding sway, looting money, taking things away, and nobody questioned them. So the situation we have now is such that whoever is holding sway must look into the document and be able to say, okay, the confidence reposed in me by being appointed here is something that I believe I can do. These are billions, and I think the people of the Niger Delta should begin to look into this process and follow it up to be sure that the right thing is being done. I know that even in court, permission is given for people to withdraw the charges and amend charges. It happens like that. But then in this case, this is investigation that is between the purview of the media. You have to be careful, check your document properly. You have the money to get people in to help you look at the document before you present it to the public, because what he did was the status of the NDDC at that time. So that's the financial status he presented, and now we have found error. What if the senators were not able to look into that document very well to point out that fact?
You brought forward, but I mean, it's so obvious because in the budget you're hinting at what you're bringing forward. So if this is what you had, this is your expenditure. Why would you have tallied that to make sure that it was balanced? That you're bringing forward the amount you're bringing forward tallies with the expenditure and what ought to remain in the accounts.
It's not even difficult to know.
It's not.
Statement of account is enough. Income and expenditure, and then what you have
Well,
left.
it seems that this was a bit above them. National Assembly must ensure Nunes safety. Says Wiki, you get that story from The Guardian. We're talking about it now. Says the River State government has advised the National Assembly to ensure that the former acting managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Dr. Joy Nunes, was not victimized while probing the commission. It said that it has viewed with concern how Nunes' name was dragged into the scam in the commission. It will be recalled that Nunes and the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, have been engaged in a fierce altercation over why she was removed as the acting managing director of the intervention agency. River State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Paulinus Inserim, said the state government was concerned about the unfolding situation in the NDDC and has therefore urged that those involved in the ongoing investigations to ensure Nunes does not suffer any harm in the course of their undertakings. Besides, Akpabio has promised the people of the region that he was committed to fulfilling the mandate given to him by President Muhammadu Buhari to replicate his achievements as governor of Akwa Ibom in the oil-rich region. Akpabio traced the underdevelopment of the region to endemic corruption, adding that President Buhari is determined to wipe out the rot while he approved a forensic audit of all allocated finances in government projects in the region. Akpabio, who was a former minority leader of the Senate before being appointed a minister, spoke to journalists in Abuja while reacting to questions on recent developments in his ministry and the Niger Delta Commission. As a former governor and senator, Akpabio said he was not happy with the state of infrastructure in the Niger Delta, particularly road projects, and emphasized the need for roads in the region to be well constructed. While maintaining his commitment to transform the region, he outlined some of his expectation of the NDDC to include setting up an NDDC specialist hospital, employment of youths and former militants, good road network, and a peaceful region, blah, blah, blah. But the point of this conversation here is from the Commissioner for Information here in River State, who says, do what you all must do, but no harm must come to Joy Nunes. For regardless whatever, she is a daughter of River State, and the state will not fold its arms and allow any of her citizens come under any harm, or any of her people, or any of her subjects, whatever you will.
Every human has a father and mother, whether legitimate or illegitimate, because if not, you won't be out of this world. And so also in Nigeria, the structure has made it possible that everybody must come from a state, and there are state governments in all those states. I do not understand why Rivers State just want to come into this Joy Nunez case and Akpabio, for instance, with others. Because I very well believe that a clear conscience fears no accusation. And I'm not also believing that the intention to probe this NDDC is to harm any human. You can only be harmed in terms of returning monies taken, assuming you are culpable and you took some money. So who is there to harm anybody? For me, is there anything they know about Joy Union we don't know? Let them leave the field wide open for everybody to be questioned. In the end, we know who was telling Nigeria the truth and who was lying.
All right, what are your thoughts there?
Yes, I think I commend the Rivers State government for the first time to coming forward and stand by its citizen that is facing challenges somewhere else. And it's a welcome development. This is what we should be doing. That's why we too from the Ogoni area, we are also saying that, in the wake of what is happening in the NDDC and the determination of Dr. Joy Nunez to open up the can of worms from there, Rivers State government should go beyond just the media statement to provide adequate security for Dr. Joy Nunez, who lives with us in Rivers State, so that when she speaks and opens up what is happening there, because she had just made it very clear that she is not speaking because she wants to go back to the NDDC or to be reappointed, but she's speaking because she has been part and parcel of the Niger Delta struggle. And for that reason, every kobo that belongs to the Niger Delta people should be used to develop the Niger Delta people. And a situation whereby people will just come and say, change money, spend it, give contract and what have you, because she has facts. So security should be provided for her, and then opening up the way she's opening up. I know that certain persons who are not comfortable with what she's saying may come after her, and that is what the governor have sent, the state government have sent. And I think security, adequate security should be provided for her in the course of this investigation, because the governor have also said in the statement that they are not against the investigation. All of us are in support of that so that we can have accountability, but security should be provided for her.
Well, what harm will come her way?
Look,
who is going to harm her?
If you listen to her spoke, I think 2 days ago, when she was speaking, she opened up a lot of things that has been happening in the NDDC. She pointed out the fact that is the Akpabio's girlfriend that supplied this at the NDDC. She pointed out the fact that the moment she came into office, Akpabio asked her to go and change, millions of dollars in the account, and then they will spend.
The question I asked is, who will hurt her? Who is going to harm her?
Look, she is fighting with some powers within the system. Let's say Akpabio.
Okay.
There are things that she has said now that 3 days now, Akpabio has not been able to respond to them. So in response of Akpabio, we don't know the shape that the response may take. And that is why the governor is cautioning.
So Rivers State is
preempting the process and letting you know that we are behind her.
She will be hurt.
The possibility could be there, but we don't want that to happen.
Bye, face to November. Thank you very much. We got Honorable Jerome Chukwuemeka Okere Esquire. He's a public affairs analyst and legal practitioner based here in Port Harcourt. Good morning. Good morning, to have you here.
Good morning, Annie. Annie, I don't know why you're laughing. what is funny here?
My face was... Look, there's a possibility and we don't want it. All right, I hear you. All right. River State, of course, saying, look, we'll protect our own, we will not sit by and fold our arms. As far as we're concerned, she's a River State indigene, and she will enjoy the full protection of the government. That's in long and short of it.
Yes, I have listened to this discussion, and I have also followed up the events. Joy Nunez had come up to say, look, Akpabio did this, Akpabio did that, including forcing her to take oath in many instances. And the governor is saying, look, governor was very specific. He said, Akpabio, nothing must happen to Joy Nunez. The governor didn't say this investigation shouldn't go on. Because the presumption, the governor is the governor of Rivers State and chief security officer of the state. And he's contemplating, let me be a little bit blunt, that she may be harmed, fiscal harm. Because the caliber of Akpabio, the personality of Akpabio, and his not making a response, everybody knows. When Akpabio was made a Niger Delta development minister, the minister in charge of Niger Delta, I was worried here. I came to this studio and I was worried. Because he was saying, look, I'm going to fight corruption. I said, I don't know how Akpabio is going to fight corruption, given his antecedents. Because we have seen a man who said, look, you don't use this stadium for this ceremony. 16 is greater than 19. and so many events. So I don't know how that corruption can be fought. Now that this event is opening, nobody will be against investigating anybody, including Joy Nune. Myself, as an individual, a member of this state, will not say, look, no, any agency shouldn't investigate them. But the manner in which she has come up, which is rare in the Nigeria sector, to open up certain issues, especially concerning a personality, the fear of the governor is that she might be harmed. She might even be killed. That is the fear. And he said, look, nothing should happen to one of my own. I am still the governor, irrespective of the party.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to. Where is it coming from? Is Akpabio known to kill people or harm people?
That is not what we're saying.
What are we saying?
What I'm saying is that anything can happen.
Something must be fueling this.
Yes.
Of all the things that will happen, why did we think it's harm that is going to happen?
When we are not unaware of several deaths in this country and this state, where individuals have died because of issues of this nature. So if anybody is saying, look, nobody is saying Abel is a killer, but if anybody is saying, look, this woman has spoken, she has unveiled so many things that were hidden. I do not want any harm. Do your investigation. Nobody should harm her.
All right.
That is what the governor is saying. I am still the governor, irrespective of she's a member of APC or whatever. That is not my business. My business is that she's a member of this state, a citizen of River State. In doing your job, nobody, including you, Akpabio, should attempt harming her. I'm sure Akpabio is not the agency that is doing the investigation. So the governor was appropriate in making that definition clear. So, but the investigation must be done. If anybody found wanting, if anybody has stolen the money, any monument for the state, if anybody has in any manner indulging herself into corruption, the governor cannot even save her from that investigation or any punishment agreeable by law. But the governor is saying, do your work, but no harm. No harm. Or in the course of doing this work must befall on one of my own. I'm here.
All right.
Is that right?
No, you were trying to. Okay, Manuel. Yeah.
Yes, just a little. You see, whatever is source for the goose is source for the gander.
Indeed.
That is Emmanuel Ndukwe's position. See, that thing you maybe the fear, which of course is very genuine. Akpabio also could be killed. Now who? Who is killing who? No, but that's the truth.
No, we do.
Do you understand?
The caliber of Akpabio vis-a-vis
I'm not looking at caliber.
with that of
Are we looking at caliber?
No.
Akpabio has the security apparatus which John Nune may not be available with.
Rewane.
We are.
No. So all those people died. They have caliber behind them.
Annie,
We cannot compare.
What I'm only
John
saying
Nune's
is
security
that
apparatus.
What I'm
That
only-
of Akpabio, former governor and minister.
hold on.
He has
Oh my
the lupus. He has it. So it's clear. It's very evident.
Annie, what I want to
All
add,
right.
what I want to add briefly.
We'll come back to this. All right, let's quickly move on. We have another here that says, will UK allow apparent attempt to defraud Nigeria of $9.6 billion? This is what analysts are asking. After a two-day virtual court hearing, a judge of the High Court of the United Kingdom, Sir Ross Cranston, has reserved judgment, telling lawyers that he will take time to study their submissions and give a ruling at a later date on the request by the Nigerian government to set aside the enforcement of a $9.6 billion arbitration awarded against it in favor of Process and Industrial Developments Limited, a briefcase company registered in British Virgin Island. However, the material question at the end of it all, according to analysts, is whether the UK judiciary will allow itself to be an accessory to a grand fraud by a shell company owned by Irish nationals who did nothing, invested nothing, employed no one, but took advantage of Nigeria's weak governance, colluding with Nigerian officials to take control of over a third of Nigeria's external reserves and multiples of the nation's yearly budget for healthcare, education, and social services at the time of COVID-19. Legal analysts who spoke to This Day last night also wondered if the judge will rule against Nigeria, given UK's firm anti-corruption stance. The federal government had yesterday continued to marshal evidence before the UK court to justify its request to set aside the enforcement of a decision of Justice Christopher Butcher, a judge of a commercial court in London, to allow PNID enforce the arbitration award in the United Kingdom. Nigeria and PNID have been locked in the legal battle over the disagreement arising from a botched gas supply purchasing agreement between the country and the firm, under which PNID was to build gas processing facilities in Cross River State, and the government was to supply wet gas up to 400 million standard cubic feet per day that will be processed to generate electricity. At the resumed virtual hearing of the case yesterday, lawyer to the Nigerian government, Mr. Mac Howard, told the court that with the emerging facts before the country, it should not be short out of seeking further redress, saying the company knew the contract was a sham. The 2010 gas supply contract, Howard told the judge, could not be validated by law since the company kept Nigeria in the dark while it succeeded in bribing senior officials into colluding with it to rip off the country.
Well, I think I have a very simple statement here. You know, we that are the bystanders, we are the spectators to these particular facts of this particular issue. We wouldn't know exactly what is going on. However, the legal team of Nigeria, the legal representative team of Nigeria, in fact, they must know every bit of facts about it. So, as analysts are asking, will UK allow Nigeria to be defrauded of whatever billions or millions? The conviction of how they prove the case, that conviction, the derivable the proof of the Nigerian legal team of all their own side of claims will indeed make the court to give a verdict that will favor Nigeria. Because I want to believe that, assuming the court comes out with a verdict that is not maybe acceptable to Nigeria, except otherwise it has reached the zenith of the legal dispensation. If not, they can appeal. In that appeal again, it is the conviction that the legal team of Nigeria will give that will make them be on the favorable side. So for me, the question of the analyst is simply, let Nigerians do the right work.
Annie,
Yeah.
courts don't carry out investigations, but I stand to be corrected, there is a lawyer here. Whatever the court sees on its table is what the judge looks at and delivers judgment. That is the same thing we are having in Ogba Egbema Ndoni local government area today. There is a crisis of chieftaincy in that community where a contender have said that the judgment that brought in Cassidy Kpegidi is wrong because the court wasn't filled with the right facts. So when you have those kind of things coming public, do you blame the judge? It's what the judge saw that he acted on. The same thing is applicable to this Nigerian case. If the legal team fail to do, we will cover the money. But the most unfortunate part of this issue is that the money to be coughed out, just like we are having with the NDDC, is coming from communities here where oil is pumping and the people are suffering. So I think they need to put their house together so that we don't let this kind of thing to happen and we win this case.
Well, every matter is decided based on the facts, the law, and precedent. So if the team has done what they're supposed to do appropriately, and the judge is unbiased, I want to capitalize that word. The judge is unbiased.
Yeah.
The judge will look at the facts, the law, and then the precedent and see what he can do to give judgment in the appropriate direction. But the question whether the UK will sit and watch Nigeria to be defrauded $9.something billion shouldn't even arise, because United Kingdom is an expropriative country. It's a country designed to expropriate everything they do. If that the spirit of the Western world is encapsulated in that judgment and the man comes up by that spirit, Nigeria should forget it. So nobody should even ask whether they can sit. If anything they can do to expropriate, anything they can do to exploit capitalism, to expropriate any member of the third world, they will not fail to do so. So my prayer is that a proper job has been done and that the judge is a man of integrity who will be highly unbiased. But to come to ask a question whether the United Kingdom as a government will sit and watch Nigeria be defrauded, have they not been defrauding us? That question shouldn't even arise. It's not a proper question, because if they have opportunities 200 times, they will do it.
All right.
Because the country is expropriative. They have transmogrified the existence of members of this third world nation, Africa as a whole, because they are into capitalism, exploitation of capitalism, imperialism. That is the fulcrum and the main core of that the government of the Western world.
Thinking the evidence before the judge
Yes.
is that this particular company employed nobody, hired nothing, brought nothing. Really, so what was the loss? Perhaps that a part of the government's agreement was not brought before date or something, what really will be their loss?
If the judge is unbiased.
Yes. I'm saying if those are the facts, that they hired nobody, brought nothing on ground, there was nothing, substantial that you say, okay, they took this chunk of money because they believed that this job was going to be theirs and had invested that in doing certain things in Calabar before for the gas plant. And they did none of that, hired nobody, expended no financial cost or cost whatsoever.
Honorable Jerome, let Nigerian team do the right job. No, you did. That is the first one before the bias of the judge or not.
So.
But is that not what their team is doing now? Is that not what the team is doing now?
And watch anybody.
No, I understand
that thinking. Nobody should begin to think of that.
No, you are right.
The news update comes up next. Thank you very much. This day with us will be joined the news desk.
Court, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. The number of active cases of COVID-19 in Rivers State now stands at 405 after more patients were discharged from the treatment centers yesterday. However, 9 new cases of the infection were discovered in the state yesterday, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 1,397. The death toll due to the virus has so far remained at 46. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, 463 new cases were reported in the country yesterday. The Rivers State government has warned that no harm should befall the former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Joy Nune. The state issued the warning in a statement by the Rivers State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Paulinus Interim, in Port Harcourt. The state government said while they commend the ongoing probe in the NDDC, they will not accept what will jeopardize the effort of President Muhammadu Buhari to positively reposition the NDDC and fulfill the yearnings and aspirations of the people of the Niger Delta. The statement adds that Rivers State owes it a duty to protect its citizens from danger no matter their political affiliation and cannot fold its hands and watch anyone harm Nune or indeed any Rivers citizen. The state government said it has viewed with concern the recent developments at the NDDC in which the name of Joy Nune has been dragged into, adding that the NDDC boss must not suffer any harm in the course of the NDDC probe. The Senate has raised the punishment for anyone found guilty on the offense of kidnapping from 10 years to life imprisonment. The Senate also deleted the statute of limitation on defilement and removed gender restrictions on the offenses of rape, explaining that both male and female could be raped. The bill also eliminated the present time frame for reporting and prosecuting defilement cases in the country. The legislation was sponsored by Senator Oluremi Tinubu. And on the foreign scene, the Supreme Court of the United States has declared the path for the first federal executions in 17 years, overturning an earlier order by a lower court to delay them. Referring to 4 scheduled executions, the Supreme Court ruled they vacate the district court's preliminary injunction so that the executions may proceed as planned. The executions were suspended by U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan to allow for legal challenges to the lethal injection that was to be used in the executions. And that was the news update. And Today 95.1 FM, do not forget, do take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face in high contact surfaces to prevent the spread of coronavirus. I am Annie Abdul Salam. Do have a beautiful morning.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Admission is on at Bowen University, Iwo, Osun State. Yes, Bowen University admission is in 3 easy steps. Go to ugadmissions.bowen.edu.ng to fill out and submit your application form. Take your computer-based post-UTME examination online, at home, or anywhere you are, between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. every day. Get your results immediately. For further inquiries, call 0803 0701-5557 or 0803-492-0436.
Bowen University, excellence and godliness.
We're glad to have Ambassador Nefo from the Vision Business Hub here with us in the studio. Ambassador Nefo, you're welcome.
Thank you, and good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here today.
Ambassador, a lot of people will want to know, what is the Business Growth Assistance Program of the Vision Business Hub all about? We notice it is rapidly expanding all over the country. So what is the program all about?
Thank you. The Business Growth Assistance Program is an international partnership program of the Vision Business Hub. We help partners to raise capital for their businesses or projects without collateral or loans. And when they get the capital, they don't have to pay it back. You see, the key word is raise. Raise the funds you need for your businesses or projects over a period of time without borrowing money from anybody. Since 2016, the Business Growth Assistance Program have helped over 2,000 partners raise business capital without collecting loans, and they did not have to pay back. Here's the fact. That you have capital to start a business does not mean your business or investment will be successful. Therefore, the Business Growth Assistance Program will also provide you with a 6-month mentorship program where a team of mastermind mentors and business experts will work with you, advise you, mentor you for a full 6 months to ensure your business is successful. But listen, this mentorship will be rendered to you completely free of charge.
I believe this is a good program for such a time as this in Nigeria. But how does the Vision Business Hub make money?
Good question. We have international affiliate partners that support our program and make sure that those who need the mentorship will get it for free. We have been diligent for the past 4 years and our results are speaking.
So what are the categories of people that can benefit, and how can they contact the Vision Business Hub?
You will be contacted if you meet up with the categories I will mention as follows. Do you need to raise money to start a business? Do you need to expand an existing business? Do you want to start another investment to support your current income? Do you have the project or a project that requires money to execute? If your answer is yes to any of these categories, then send yes to the number I will call shortly. The Vision Business Hub has a functional working plan to teach partners how to raise the funds they need in a period of 3 to 6 months without collecting loans or dropping collateral. And once you raise the capital, you don't have to pay it back. To top it up, because we understand that the secret to any business success is mentorship, we have committed to providing free mentorship to the first 30 people that send yes to us from this program. So if you are not among the first 30 people to send yes to us, you have to pay a consultation fee of 50,000 naira. Yes, 50,000 naira. But if you are amongst the first 30 people to text yes, our consultants will talk to you completely free of charge right at our summit. Now, for every awareness we make, we select only 30 people. That means the first 30 people from this program that send yes to the number I will call will be selected. Remember, the great Pablo Picasso said that action is the foundational key to all success. Do not hope for change. Create the change you want through action. So if you want to take action and you need help to raise funds for your business or project, then pick up your phone now and send yes to this number.
0810-667-2055.
Do not sit back and explain away what you do not understand. If you really need financial help to start a business or project, this is the time. Don't sit back and hope that life will get better. Dr. Steve Marbley once said, life will not give you what you want. It will only give you what you demand with action. The time for action, I believe, is now. So pick up your phone and send yes to this number.
0810-667-2055.
I will call it again, but if you're one of the first 30 people to respond, you will talk to our consultants to benefit from the Business Development Assistance Program. So if you'd like to understand how we can help you to raise these funds that you need for your business or project, quickly send yes, YES, to this number.
0810-667-2055. 0810-667-2055.
Our representatives will give you a call and schedule a meeting for you with one of our consultants who will guide you on how you can create the capital you desire without loans or collateral. And when you get the capital, you won't have to pay it back. And then you will also get free 12 months mentorship to make sure you succeed in your venture. Albert Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is defined as insanity. So do not continue with the mistakes of last year. Make sure you do something different this year. Make sure you get mentorship this year. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again and God bless you.
Thank you, Ambassador Nefo, for sharing this business opportunity with us.
Never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Today is here. Yesterday is gone and unrecoverable. Tomorrow, you don't know what it holds, right? You have today. Yes, you heard me. You have today. The indisputable truth is that today is pregnant with both good and bad. You have freely been given today as a gift to see what you will make out of it. Permit me to be positive. Permit me to sideline the negative and magnify the good. Permit me to espouse on today. Today is great. Today is wonderful. Today is targetable and targets can be achieved. Today is domineering and you can be dominant. Today is a conqueror and goals can be conquered. Today is challenging and you can challenge yourself for the better. Today is cheerful. You can choose to be happy. Just in case you're sulking, saddened and feeling sorry for yourself. Enough of the wallow in self-pity. You have today. I mean today. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. Take that step today. Opportunities are everywhere. Just be sensitive. Build on yourself and get ready for the opportunity. Be the best you can be today, because I see the sun smiling on you. This message is powered by Today
95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM. From 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
All right, welcome back. It's 14 minutes after 9. And we'll be moving on now to Opinion Pool. We'll be taking one of the stories from the papers or the captions that we earlier ran through for the Opinion Pool. And we will be taking this story. I think we didn't get to touch it. It was part of it where the PDP was asking Akpabio to step aside for probe. We didn't get to touch that story, but it was part of our opinion poll. So our newspaper review is up on that page already. So let's just get to the story proper. and run that for the opinion poll. Welcome back. Sorry about that. We're trying to pull up that story, but we'll just run with another instead. We have Obasaki's incumbency will not work. Silver is the one speaking, and that concerns Edo 2020. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Jimmy Praise Silva, has declared that the Edo State governorship election is a must-win for the All Progressives Congress, adding that the whole of the South-South region, were in agreement with the fact. The minister, however, said the power of incumbency will not favor the incumbent governor, Godwin Obasaki, who he said was currently operating from a stolen mandate. Silva, who spoke to journalists at the end of the contact and mobilization subcommittee meeting ahead of the upcoming Edo gubernatorial elections, also stated that the party will do all to forestall a repeat of the Bielsa experience. All of us in the South-South believe that this election must be won. Edo State is our only APC state in the South-South. A few months ago, as you were all aware, they took Bielsa State from us through the back door after we won the election. And now through the back door again, they've taken Edo State, but luckily we have the opportunity of reclaiming Edo State in a few weeks from now. And every South-South APC member is of the consensus that we must reclaim Edo State. It is our stronghold in the region, and therefore we are all geared up. We will go to Edo State. We will all go to Edo State. We want to assure you that you should not entertain any doubts that Edo State will be an APC state very soon, come the election in September. While speaking on Governor Obasaki's chances at the polls, he said election is not all about finances. First, if you say you have the power of incumbency, it is an APC incumbency that has been stolen by the PDP. So that kind of incumbency has a comma. And that is why we believe that such incumbency will not work. The Edo people know that Edo A State is for APC, and I want to assure you that we are in touch with our people in Edo State, and we know that we are the dominant party in Edo State, and we are going to win the election. Obviously, the APC is really rived up over these elections in Edo State. One, because of the drama that had carried on in Edo State to this very moment, and the need to assure, the rest of Nigerians that regardless what's going on in-house, they're still going to hold on to, or they could still hold on to Edo State, and that it's not the in-house drama that has cost them any loss whatsoever. And like he rightly pointed, Edo State is about the only state in the South-South that used to be an APC state, in the sense that they had a governor. Now that Obasaki has defected to the PDP, of course, that means all the states in the South-South are all PDP governed. They believe that the incumbency is actually an APC's, that it would be very dicey for Obasaki to run this election as an incumbent governor, and therefore maxing on all the opportunities, saying that until a few weeks back, he had always been an APC governor, and that was an APC state. How much of that would change within the next few months before September, and you can roll that advantage for the PDP is one of the questions that Silva is putting up here. And I would really want to see if that is even possible. Emmanuel.
Well, I think, let me lay the foundation. The Silva is an PDP stalwart. And of course, is the junior minister for petroleum. Very important. A lot of Nigerians are looking for that position.
Yeah.
If it should come to a dose issue of election, he says no. Yamo is going to lose. Obaseki is going to win. And that is a comment of Tea Party. And maybe Buhari is a person that appointed him may think twice about that position he's holding. And so he must come out and heap platitudes on APC. And that's exactly what he has done. I must tell you that, yes, if he says incumbency won't work, I hope people won't believe him so much. But it might be true what he's saying, but people won't believe him because Autumn defected from the PDP, rather APC to PDP. I know he's the governor of Benue State today. So, you see, it could happen. Tambuwa defected from PDP to APC. You remember when he was a speaker?
Yes.
Good. So, this thing, in Nigeria, there are no boundaries to all political parties. All politicians are the same in this country. I don't know, the sooner they know that fact, they will know that, in fact, this is just a label. The PDP, the APC. Now, if you are telling me that Obaseki stole that mandate, at least whether he stole it or not, I will come to that later.
No, the PDP stole it. Because
rather, the PDP, good. The PDP stole that mandate through Obaseki. I will tell you, well, whether he stole it or not, which I will explain later, he is in PDP now. Now, what led it to that stealing, if he is stealing? He wasn't given the free hand to stay. Because like I said, Obaseki, as they said his name now was written, was also in 2014 or when he competed against Yamo in PDP. That Obaseki did not just emerge. It was there because he had a bulwark in the person of Oshomole. He scaled through. Now he lost favor with Oshomole. Obaseki emerged. And then Obaseki wants to finish his second tenure. The PDP is not thinking about what happened in Bayelsa. Then I say, okay, you come. We'll take you. So what will happen later, they will all see that. But right now, he is a bona fide member of the PDP in Edo State. And so you can't take that away from him. And the incumbency factor is yet to be known. What I believe, quite frankly, is that elections will come, no matter how you buy, because both of them are adepts at rigging, APC, PDP. Now, if you rig and whatever you do, the people of Edo State still, there are those who won't be bought. Now, which way will they follow? For Emmanuel Duku, I don't know, I'm a human. Now, if you tell me that they took the result, the victory of the APC in Bayelsa through the back door, I'll tell you no, it was through the front door. Because they have allowed the judiciary to be the final arbiter in political affairs in Nigeria. What the PDP did was to approach the court. And the people saw them. It wasn't a backdoor affair. And the way they stated everything, the lawyers, both sides argued, it went to PDP. If there is a fault, it's from those ones there in the Temple of Justice, no longer the political affair of any political party. So they got it. So for me, it's a front door because it's part of the equation in Nigeria, political equation for that matter. So what I want to say is that as for Silva, he has simply gave himself encouragement and APC members. But if they rely on mere words and they do not do a thorough job, well, Yamo will still have to wait a look again as Obaseki will continue. But nobody is sure of what is going to happen until elections take place.
All right. So your thoughts there, Fine Face Mamena?
Yeah, I think it's the APC is like crying foul here, and they ate their cake and they want to get it back in those states. When the problem was brewing, leading to what he now claimed that they took it through the back door by the governor defecting to the PDP. They were all keeping quiet, and they allowed the whole thing to degenerate to that level. Now the governor moved to the next party, and as it is today, plus or minus, Edo State is like PDP state as we speak. That is to say, the PDP is struggling to make sure that South is no-go area for APC. They have to take note of that. Just like the Southwest is no-go area to an extent like Lagos is for the PDP. So they need to understand that. As it is today, the PDP, the APC have had Bayelsa. They just lost it to the Supreme Court. And the only state remaining now, standing, is Edo State. And they are also on the verge of losing it if they do not sit tight. So be that as it may, I think that there is no how you can describe the fact that the defection or whatever happened there, that the PDP took it through the back door. It was through the front door. The same thing happened in Bayelsa because they failed to field candidates that have the right credential. But I believe that has taught a lot of Nigerians lessons. So whatever it is, I still believe that the power to bring in the next governor or not lies with the people of Edo State. And it is the people that will decide that. Edo, at this point in time, when INEC is going to conduct an election, it's not a time that we have many elections in Nigeria. So we expect INEC to put every machinery in motion to ensuring that we have the best free and fair election ever to think about in that state.
All right. What are your thoughts there, Fine Face? Honorable Jerome.
Well, I'm not shocked. I'm not perturbed by that speech by Siva. He's speaking like any politician could have done, just like Emmanuel said. As a Minister of State for Petroleum and a member of All Progressives Congress, what do you expect him to do? He's a chieftain of the South. Now, he is about to speak in line with all those things that will give his people hope. Because elections in Nigeria is all about hope, propaganda. What you tell the people to believe and work hard. If you tell them that, well, let's see what happens, who will win, they will not come up. He is speaking as if there is something he has put in place that will bring a guarantee for the All Progressive Congress to win. But I'm telling you, there's nothing. It is just a political speech that will motivate the people to enable them. This speech will encourage some people to say, oh, who knows whether he's going to use federal mind to rig this election. Whether he has planned that or not, he is the only one known. Whether that will work or not, he is the only one that knows. But he has to make this speech to motivate the people of Edo to say, look, whatever we do through Siva and members of All Progressive Congress, Obaseki will lose. I don't see that speech as a very serious one. I take it as a politician. I see it as a campaign strategy to, see what you do to influence the audience in tilting towards what will favor you. But how did the PDP collect the Bayelsa through back door? The only front door that is even more appropriate is the judiciary. The judiciary is the last hope of common man. Section 6 of the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria, as amended in 1999, is very explicit. They need to interpret. In fact, what they do is interpreted as the last hope for the common man. Now, how can that act be seen as taken through the back door? The Supreme Court say we are not final because we are infallible. We are infallible because we are final. Finality. Whatever we have done is final. Not because we cannot make no mistake. But we haven't done it. Look, we cannot be seen to be making mistakes. So in the light of that, they examined and then look at the facts and the law in the Bayelsa case and gave judgment. And that judgment is final. So anybody walking up to say that a state was taken to the back door is an affront to the entire judiciary. It is despicable. That speech is despicable. It's condemnable because you now say what one judgments favor you. Don't forget that this Siva was also one time a candidate of All Progressive Congress in Bayelsa. What was the outcome? This power, this influence, this temerity he has now to manipulate the elections in Edo didn't come in Bayelsa. He couldn't manipulate when he was the right person running. He didn't win that election. So Bayelsa State had all along been that of PDP. So how did it now come through back door? The man was mayor governor elect, not sworn in until he has sworn in. Even when you're sworn in, sometimes events could upturn.
Like Imo.
Yes, Imo State, we see what happened. So that of Imo State is not the back door. It's not the back door. Where the Supreme Court came, a man who came fourth, or is it fourth position, was now declared winner. It's not the back door.
For a reason.
For the reason based on, and that is the judgment of the court. And as a legal practitioner, I cannot contradict or begin to ask questions. The justice of the
No,
Supreme
you
Court.
can't ask questions.
No, I
but
do not.
You accept.
Whether yes, I have accepted. It's a case law.
In accepting doesn't mean you ask questions.
No,
because,
the questions will end before the matter. Once there's a pronouncement of the Lord Justices of the Supreme Court, I abide. Because it is final. Whether they are fallible or not, it is a final judgment. In fact, it becomes a precedent until they overrule themselves in another matter. So why would I be asking questions that will amount to nullity? It's just like a storm in the teacup. So for me, Silva has waken up to arouse the spirit of the people of Edo. And if you say the power of incumbency won't work, I don't know how that is possible. Ordinarily speaking, in Nigeria, given the methodology in which the elections are being conducted, as an incumbent governor, the implication is that all the council chairmen are members of the PDP. Councillors are all members of PDP. Majority. And if we give the nature of our elections so well or performed, that will even be credible and be another advantage. I am not going to know or begin to specifically state who will win. It's only God that knows who will be the next governor of Edo State. No one man can wake up and say, look, a must, with the language being used, that mandatory speech is that of a human. Is too much of a human being, not of a man that is metaphysical or infallible in nature, which can only define or foresee the future. Presently speaking, it's speculative. Both the PDP and APC are in that drive to speculate and then doing all things they need to do within their confines and their fulcrum to ensure that they win election. And everybody must speak positively so that the people who are going to convert this vote will say, no, we have done. Some people even tell you that they've concluded it, that whatever comes, the outcome will be theirs. Is it always the case? That is not always the case. The first place for itself, when this election is announced, we will begin to understand whether Silva's party will win or Obaseki's party will win. But for now, there's no back door. Nobody took anything from the back door. Even when Silva defected, Obaseki defected from APC to PD, it's not back door. After all, Silva was a member of PDP. Wasn't a member of PDP before? Today he's in All Progressive Congress. As governor of Bayelsa State, wasn't a member of PDP. When he announced all these things to move as a result of interest, which is personal to him and maybe perhaps his group, he moved. He's speaking for APC today. Yesterday he was of PDP. Obaseki was APC yesterday. Today is of PDP. It's permanent interest, no permanent enemy, no permanent friend. That is the slogan here in Africa. Because if you come to say, look, there's any specific or thing tangible for a politician to hold on, except his interest and interest of his group. That's what influences most politicians here to take decisions as to which party to belong. So Obaseki has moved. He has moved with the hope of becoming the next governor through the PDP, which APC couldn't offer him. Now, nobody should begin to say there was backdoor movement. He's going to do it as an incumbent, as a member of the PDP. So let us watch. All right. So nobody should come and begin to build castles on the air by mere pronouncement that look, okay, we have done this, we have not done that.
Back to Emmanuel, start with you now. Honorable Jerome, when we bring the issue of incumbency when we're talking about elections, what do we mean? Because each time I say, oh, the power of incumbency, how is that supposed to be an advantage when we're looking at Nigerian politics?
Yes, it's a great advantage.
So,
if you are an incumbent, there are a lot of things are immune on you. One, you are the governor of the state, especially if that incumbent is also a member of the party at the federal. When they are in disparity, that's where there may be an issue. But an incumbent has so many advantages, like I've said earlier. Yeah. One, the presumption is that you have money. Because in this country, as a governor, sitting governor, you have acquired wealth. The man who is running with you may not have money to organize the election. Two, most of the appointments being held within the state are people who believe in you, who are going to work for you. Edo has how many local government areas? I don't know exactly, but all the local government chairmen are members of PDP. They moved with him. Now, the councillors who are the direct persons that have direct bearing with the people are all members of that party. Most members of the House of Assembly will be seen to working in tandem with the governor. Now, commissioners are from different localities. their influence, their wealth, their experiences, and what they need to manipulate will be for that party. Now, this party is going to organize all these elements, aggregate them together to ensure the other man is coming from afar. He does not have any party chairman, any chairman of council. He does not have any councillor. No member of House of Assembly, except those who strongly believe in him. The presumption is that the fund he is going to dish out may not be of equivalent with the incumbent, because the incumbent is handling the fund of the state. So in most times we don't.
So when we say incumbency here, our reference is just
these things I'm
just the
mentioning.
money.
Yeah, not just the money.
No.
The money is there. I've mentioned so
No.
many
Yes.
factors. I've said the man is presumed to have more money, whether it's reportable or not. That is immaterial, but that's a presumption that works for him. Now, the political office holders within the area are mostly members of his own political party who are also going to work for him. I've mentioned if there are, as mean to some local government areas, he's the one controlling the council chairman. These council chairmen have direct bearing with their people. The councillors who are also members of that party, members of his government, are also working directly with him, because the stake of the governor is tied to their own. If the governor wins, they are likely to continue and then may also be re-elected. So they are going to their various localities and various wards to ensure that they work for the governor. The commissioners are appointed, and these commissioners come from different constituencies, different wards, and different localities. They are also going to work in harmony with the aspiration of the governor. We have board chairmen, we have special advisors to the governor. They may even increase the appointment of special assistants and other appointment boards to ensure that various localities are giving one slot or the other to enable them win this election. All these people are going home to influence their people. Most Nigerians don't vote independently. Most of the votes here are tied to the leaders of their various localities. Look, we don't like the governor, vote because of B. That is what we hear. We have not grown to a level of independence where people wake up and say, look, this is what I want to do. There are very few number of persons who work in that direction. But as we speak today, most of them are tied to the aprons and wishes of the man who is their leader, who gives them peanuts to ensure that they are controlled. So that is why somebody said Silva as an incumbent who understands the interpretation will come up and say, look, don't be afraid, because the people are also always will be afraid and say that incumbency will not work, because we are here to do what we need to do to ensure that the incumbency you are afraid of may not come to play. Even if we vote, no matter what we do, there's incumbency. They will begin to move away from that and begin to think of how to support the All Progressive Congress. But that thing that is a speech made by a man who wants to give hope to his people.
Yeah.
So incumbency is a strong factor. It's a major factor that nobody can wish away in the politics and then political development and the progress of this country.
All right. Incumbency when it comes to Nigerian politics.
Well, I think Barrister Jeremy have almost finished everything, but as a lawyer, let me also really tackle from the perspective of political science, which is not different from what he has said. The issue of the power of incumbency is as powerful as anything you can think of. Nothing has changed in Edo State, having the governor before and putting on another cloth. Power of incumbency means that the whole structure within the states is controlled and managed by the governor through his influence. There's this centripetal and centrifugal forces that play out. And when a governor has been there for 4 years, who is who in that state must have keyed into his political view and angle. And all those people will not want to be thrown out of the boat, because the government is like a moving ship that is steaming. Okay? You either come on board or you are thrown off board. So those who have been able to get on board and are feeding from there, we do everything humanly possible to ensuring that their interest is protected through their boss. Because if the governor is removed today, maybe he loses the election, all of them will go off for the next 4 years. They will go and struggle again to come back to government. So they will do everything they can. So in Nigeria, if a sitting governor loses election, there is every tendency to up to 60% to say that that election has been rigged. Because you have the council chairman there in all the LGAs, you have the councillors, you have his commissioners, you have his aides, all the SAs and what have you. They are all there. And when it is election period, they use this structure that's already established to distribute resources for campaign through to the nooks and crannies of the states. And you see votes moving in that direction back to the center to keep demand. So that possibility is there. I don't think that Ize Yamo being in the APC today as the flag bearer has more money than the sitting governor. The sitting governor is sitting on billions of allocation. In fact, to prosecute the election, no, federal will support and fund. But what really matters in terms of power of incumbency is the structure and that influence that the governor has within the state. This is the time that everybody that has benefited from the governor one way or the other will now have to show loyalty. So the power of incumbency is very powerful. So the tendency of the APC taking Edo State from the PDP that is not sitting as the governor is somehow slim, except they use federal might.
When you say federal might, what's that?
Security, manipulating the system, trying to intimidate, and this is what I think the governor of Rivers State, being the chairman, is resisting.
Is that not what incumbency also is doing?
No!
No, incumbency is also going to be intimidating because they're using their structures.
The structure is democratic compared to the power of incumbency, power of the federal might. Federal might is not democratic. Federal might is the use of the security apparatus controlled by the center.
But incumbency is using his money.
Yeah, but it's democratic process.
How?
Democratic because you have the structures already on ground, the council chairman, the commissioners, the aides, the councillors.
Remember, council chairman, the aides, and all as we have now are APC.
They are all back. They joined the governor.
No, they didn't move. They didn't all move. No.
I know all of them may not move, but to an extent, greater percentage with the governor.
No, not from Edo State. Not from what I heard from Edo State. No.
Well, let's see what plays out.
So if we're looking at that now, we're saying incumbency. That's why we're looking at Edo's politics because I don't know why they're throwing incumbency back and forth between both of them, both parties. So when we say incumbency comes to play in Edo State, what are we really talking about here? Is it that he's going to use Edo's machinery in the sense that the war chest will come from the allocations or, the state funds for him to persecute his agenda? When you're looking at structure in itself, most of the legs are APC. What's he going to do? Is he going to now use money to buy them over? So if he's using money to buy them over and the center is using force to hold them back, it will pretty be the same thing. They're just using different means to get what they want.
I don't know if I can answer that question.
you get your point. Don't worry.
They will clash at that point, and that is the point where the politics, the election, and whatever will be interesting.
All right.
To get him to use this left and right powers to move to the ballot box and get that party out.
You see, Annie, there's one comment that Honorable Okere made.
Yes.
When he said, especially what he was highlighting, that if the federal is also the same with the state.
Yes.
In rare cases, you see a state that is not with the federal winning. And that is strictly when the federal looks at the importance of that particular state and say they do not want any kind of disturbance in that state. They will go back and say, let whichever party takes it because it happens to be the mainstay. That is where you see that. And again, where the president is not a person who, for instance, as this one, who can tell you vote anybody, but vote me. He's not interested, just let it be himself gets his own. Then you can see there won't be federal might. But I tell you, Anne, whether a situation where the states are the local government chairman, all the structures belong to a will crumble. Instead, that federal might, because when you are talking about whatever you may be doing, can you be doing it if there is any gun pointed at on your head? No, now you leave everything you are doing. You go to unorthodox by recruiting maybe the civilian army. They can't also match these people, the conventional operatives. So for me, I think incumbency is very powerful, but it does seem to have a K-leg. Because that's what I was waiting to hear, that all the local governments chairmen moved with Obaseki. If they don't, then should these people decide to use federal might, Obaseki may not scale through. But one thing I understand as a non-politician is that I have not seen this particular administration going with the issue of federal might. And again, say, we must take every... Let me tell you, in 2015, maybe was it something to 2 a.m. or whenever, the police officer that was in charge of Zone 6 was removed. That destabilized the whole thing that would have happened here. And that case, you have freedom because the center was of a different party while the state was of a different one. And that is for the president that looks at that kind of thing. But I've not seen Buhari to be doing that. So federal might not come, and Obaseki will come, may not be able to dole out the funds that will be able to match that of Obaseki. That is the problem. Because that's why money is fluid. It doesn't work at all times. Because if there is anybody who even funds that, who have money more than that particular governor of a state, then the security is not in your hand. Even with all those funds, there's nothing you can do. Security is the greatest key.
All right then. You wanted to say something earlier.
The point I was making, you were saying that not all the council chairmen moved with Obaseki. I said even those who didn't move, it's a political strategy. You can see what happened to Oshomole when the party chairman, the ward chairman said he didn't move. He was kept there. I don't want to envisage. He was kept there. When Oshomole said he has been relieved of the suspension, the person came up. He was still speaking in favor of Obaseki. Now, even what Emandogo is saying now, with respect to federal man, we saw that in Rivers State. The way you handle the federal man is key. I can say that maybe Buhari as a person may not be deeply involved, but the agencies of Buhari, those who are working under him, tend to use the federal mind. In the last election here, we saw military men, police. It happened in my ward. Really not a trust. After election, they come down and say, look, pack up everything. It happened at Obita Ward 10. In the unit 2 where I voted, they took some persons, I can mention their names, put them into the vehicle. But because the man who was a sitting governor here had a more technical way of handling issues, now the police influenced the army. Nobody can claim to be unaware of the military influence in Rivers State in the last election.
Hold on.
The agencies that were used.
As much as there was military influence, as you're saying here.
Yes.
There's also the opportunity of obvious angle of INEC officials also being used.
Good. Yes.
There's also the use of miscreants and dissidents. That not all three are from the center.
Yes, but that wasn't why the APC lost. Awara lost.
No, hold on.
Yes.
I'm not using Rivers State as a case study.
No, I'm not referring to it because
it doesn't fit the
bill. It must say this administration there is a little usage of federal mines. I said no. It took place here in Rivers State. Very obvious, very bluntly.
Okay.
With some military men, police officers, and the rest of them deeply involved.
I'm looking at
into that election.
Yeah, assuming that we see that sort of thing turn out in Edo State. Assuming we see military involvement to the point where it's overwhelming. I also know there's a possibility that INEC officials could be used, as it's also been said was used in Rivers State.
Yes.
INEC officials could be used to, and that could manipulate the process. Some people said it's a very technical approach, but that's also manipulating the process.
It's true.
Dissidents and miscreants can also be brought in. Remember that there were several places where they cited people in army garb that till tomorrow, we don't know whether those people were army personnel or not. In some cases, yes, we could make out that those were army personnel, and in other cases, we couldn't tell for sure whether they were not. That possibility is also open for use in this forthcoming elections. So for me here, I'm just trying to see how much my reliance on the question is. We seem to take incumbency for me as a focal point when we're talking about winning an election. So if you're incumbent, we seem to arrogate so much towards that position and the person that seems to mean like you're coasting to power.
No.
And I'm still trying to buy into
it's very
it.
clear. Your thinking is appropriate with the nature of our elections.
Okay.
There's no free and fair election in Nigeria. Yeah, I've said that in so many fora. I said we have not democratized. If
no
you look
single
at,
election
yes,
has been
I have
free
said that Nigeria is civilized. I'm not changing it today. I'm saying that elections in Nigeria have not met the standards. So it is who manipulates more. And that's what I'm saying. I said, like in the case of Rivers State, when military, police, and the rest of them were used. But because the man, I said in this studio that nobody contested with the sitting governor. I said, he contested alone. That was my speech that day, because you cannot bring a man called Awara. a day to 4 days to the election, and they spent magic. The governor ran this election alone. Anybody asking that the governor wouldn't have won that election was not taken properly for this state. That was my statement. Then I was a member of All Progressive Congress as at that day, before I even moved to PDP. I came into this studio and said, look, what is the agitation? What is this heat that there was somebody contesting against the sitting governor? Nobody. Awara came 4 days to the election. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Now in Edo State, power of incumbency is a fact. Whether at the federal, I have said it works most appropriately when there is there's a conviviality between the center and the state. That centripetal element, like this my brother said, will work. But it can't be diffuse. It could be centrifugal if you now have a disparity between the center, because where the federal government decides to come with its full force, there's problem. There will be collusion. If that collusion is not properly managed, it will snowball into crisis. Now, if that is not appropriately, the president of Nigeria, to a great extent, is not a man who will somehow meddle much by his nature. But those who are working under him, those who work under him, like Silva is speaking with the power of incumbency. If a man working under you is trying to use incumbency and you are silent over it, what does that? The principle of vicarious liability in law is that the act of the agent is the act of the principal. If the man working under you has used your power, the instrumentality of force, inhaled on him because he's a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and now you have kept quiet, you have done nothing to stop that act. You are the one doing the act. Are you not? That act is adequately transferred to you. Vicarious liability is very explicit. It's a legal issue. You cannot shade away from a man who said, look, I am doing this, and I am controlling you and have not called you to order. That's what I'm saying. So incumbency is a factor.
All right, then we got your thoughts there. Somebody just came in now to give him the opportunity to speak. Us just have 5 more minutes for the top of the hour. Andy Apotive joins us. Good morning, Andy Apotive, social reformer, nation builder, author, troubler, he says, of bad leadership. Andy Apotive, great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so we're having this conversation over a news story. It was taken from the leadership newspaper. Obaseki's incumbency will not work. Silva is the one speaking there. And so we started looking at the issue of incumbency. How come when we talk Nigerian politics, we rely a lot on incumbency, and how much really does the power of incumbency come to play when we're looking at politics and elections, really?
Okay, so generally, the power of incumbency is a very big factor in deciding who becomes what in any election. And that is so much so in Africa and in Nigeria particularly. It's not to say that you do not have this elsewhere in the world, like in the United States of America, like in France, like in Russia. You'd have all of these power of incumbency playing out to install mostly the people who are holding the powers, to install them for a second term or for a third term. You'd see even in Russia right now, there is a referendum that, I think almost concluded about how that Vladimir Putin would be allowed to stay there till a certain time. So it's because of the fact that he's able to pull the levers of powers in his favor, such that whatever he wanted, it was akin to how God decreed things into existence. Because all of those things, all of those agencies and instruments of power, they are in his favor. But you see, power of incumbency, you would say that it's been taken to an arbitrary level, particularly in Nigeria. Because where else you'd see that people are making use of institutions to have a hold of power in other countries. In Nigeria, it's not so much about making use of the institutions in their favor, but he's doing every other thing as wuru-wuru-shiously as possible, pardon my use of that word, to install themselves in power. Today we run a country and where we are told that in order to be able to drive, on Nigerian roads, you have to have a roadworthy certificate. So your vehicle must be certified to be roadworthy. And we're in a country where we are not bothered about whether we should certify the roads as being car worthy. We live in a country today where you would go to certain places where you expect that they are supposed to be able to dispense what they are proprietarily established for. For instance, power holding. You see that they do not have power and they're using generator to run their power. You see that today in Nigeria, it seems as though everything is working on its head, and governance is absent. So you see that we are being governed mostly by propaganda, from the center to the local government. Therefore, because of this, what they have said is absolutely correct, is the fact that we can sum all this up in who controls the purse, who can dispense with the most finance. Everything that they've talked about is all summed up in who controls finance. From the local government chairman that they are talking about to who says that if it was about structure, Andy Akpotife cannot emerge and have a shadow structure that would be in those places, that would be in the wards, a shadow structure that would be in the local government, a shadow structure that would be in those places. And Andy Akpotife can have that. But because Andy Akpotife cannot wield the enormous resource that is at the disposal of the governor, at the disposal of the president, particularly, we are run by a system where INEC's responsibility to check how much is spent in elections is not performed. So that today, a governor, even though by the constitution, even though by the laws, is supposed to spend X amount of money, can decide to spend X times 10 amount of money, and nothing would happen.
Yeah, because you can't even
trace it. The president can decide to spend X raised to power 300 amount of money, and nothing happens because of the enormous amount of money that is at their disposal. The power of incumbency becomes really very strong, that we cannot play with it. Everywhere you have seen that they have quashed this power of incumbency, money matched money, and one money was greater than the other money. Take for instance, a Goodluck Jonathan was ousted from power. The amount of the other persons who do not have as much money.
In looking at Edo now, are we looking at who's coming in with the biggest money?
Well, for now, it's very much opaque to know exactly who will come with the greater money.
Is that what we should be looking at?
But it's obvious, Annie, that
you see, Annie, it's part of it, but I disagree that somebody with weapons cannot stop whoever is spending any amount.
Money controls weapons, Mr. Ima. The money will control the weapons.
Right.
We saw what happened even in Rivers State.
Let's get to the news and find out whether money controls weapons. So I do hope something in the news will tell us something about it. Stay with us. In Keruka, Onyejijoka, Minority Leader Undudu Elumelu, and Deputy Minority Leader Toby Okechukwu, the bill, which was titled Need to Investigate the Purported Voluntary Resignation of over 365 soldiers from the Nigerian Army. Adopting the motion, the House mandated its Committee on Army to investigate these allegations and report back in 1 week. On the foreign scene, China's ambassador to the United Kingdom has described Britain's decision to ban telecoms giant Huawei from its 5G network as disappointing. The UK government has ordered companies to strip equipment from Huawei out of the system by 2027. It follows sanctions imposed by the United States, which claims that the Chinese firm poses a national security threat, something Huawei denies. US President Donald Trump has welcomed the UK decision, calling Huawei unsafe. Trump made the comments as he attempted to increase pressure on Beijing by announcing an executive order ending preferential treatment for Hong Kong in response to a new security law brought in by China. And that was the news update on Today 95.1 FM. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap and the running water. Avoid touching your face in high contact surfaces to prevent the spread of coronavirus. I am Annie Abdul Salam. Have a good morning.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM. Live from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. This is Today 95.1 FM.
Free from empty wallet, oh. Free from empty pocket, oh. Yeah. Only one way, only one way, only one way. I take not the way. Trade for us like a pro. We go guide you as you go. Jolly, jolly, just to go. Oh yeah. Trade for us like a pro. We go guide you as you go. Jolly, jolly, just to go. Oh yeah.
It is still another wonderful, wonderful time for us to be here to talk about stuff. And when I say stuff, I mean stuff that can make your pocket fat and shapeless. I always say that because it's a very good sign when your pocket is bulgy and what is inside is not stone but money. And when we talk money, we talk about money in ways that you can get it very legitimately from the comfort of your home without breaking a sweat. But all you need to do is, learn a few skills that you'll be given, and it will change your life for the better. My name is Obinna, that's Obinna for short, and I'm here with Mr. Mike Fowope of Hantech Markets, and together we're going to be taking a look at the opportunities that avail you and why you should take advantage of them. Great to have you here, Mr. Mike.
Yeah, good day, listeners.
All right, so let's get down to business.
Good.
My mom would always say start from the very beginning. What is Hantech Markets? For those who are just listening for the very first time.
Okay. Hantech Market is a fintech company that started over 30 years ago in Hong Kong. And basically, what do? We create wealth. We make life very, very comfortable for people, and create wealth, create an opportunity for people to also make money. And then how do we do this? Two ways that we do this. Number one, we connect people to the largest financial opportunity, largest financial market in the world, whereby we create opportunity for people to make money. Okay. And aside that, the second way, it's by teaching people how to trade into that market and make money. So we teach them the skills to make money in that market.
Now, why is it important for people to be taught?
Yeah, because
you see adverts everywhere. You tell you just download this app and pop, $150. People are shouting, "Yeah, I just made $150." Is it not that simple?
We are not people that hype. We are quite different. We tell people the right thing to do. Before a medical doctor will become a doctor, has to go through learning.
Yes.
For all of us, even broadcasters, you have to go through training.
Yes.
So nobody will tell you legitimately or correctly that you can make money without the right education. So that's where Hantech Market is different from others.
All right.
We don't hype. We'll tell you, yes, there's opportunity for people to make money in this market. I make money. I've been trading for 14 good years. I make money. Okay. What we do is we provide you the opportunity, but we don't just leave you like that.
Okay.
We'll teach you how to trade in that market and make money.
Okay. So what are the markets that are available for people to trade in?
It's online. It's a currency market. We have currency market. We have commodities.
Okay.
We have energy. And let me just give a very good example so that people understand what we're talking here. So, an example of a currency market.
Yes.
It's, for instance, Naira against dollar. There's an exchange rate.
Yes.
I think for now, $1 equals 400 Naira.
Yeah, averagely, yeah.
Exactly, So, but you also note that this exchange rate fluctuates.
Okay.
It goes up, it comes down. That fluctuation gives opportunity for people to make money.
Okay.
So how does it happen? So, if I have a foresight that dollar is going to get to 450, we don't pray it happens, So what do I do if I have that foreknowledge? So I just go and buy $1,000 from the market. So I give the bureau de change guy $1,000 will cost 400,000 naira.
Yes.
So I'll give the guy 400,000 naira. It gives me $1,000 in exchange for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I keep my money.
Yes.
So let's say in 2 weeks' time, my forecast is right. So dollar has moved to 450 naira.
Yes.
So what do? I go back to the same guy. He say, aboki, like you call them in Lagos.
Lagos, yeah.
I want to sell my dollar. So the guy is willing to buy because it's also an exchanger.
Yes.
So I give him that $1,000. But remember now, the price has appreciated
by 50,000.
By 50,000 naira. So the guy will give me back 450,000 naira. So in 2 weeks, I've made 50,000 naira. So in Handtech, we give you the skill to know when to buy or sell so that you can make that money on your smartphone. You can do it.
All right.
You can do it anywhere you go. On my phone, most times I'm a very busy executive and I still trade. I look at my phone to see opportunity, looking at the chart. I trade on the go. If I'm at home, I use my laptop to trade. So it's very easy. I tell people everybody should trade. Everybody should learn how to make money because it's easy. On your smartphone, you can spot opportunity after learning how to do that. Okay? It's simple.
Okay.
Hello everyone. Handtech Market, an award-winning financial technology firm with 30 years industry experience, is pioneering taking the Forex teaching classes from offline to online using an award-winning video conferencing software. The online class will avail you the opportunity to learn how to make money in the currency market from the comfort of your home using your internet-based smartphone or laptop. You can use the sit at home as an opportunity to learn a skill set that will enable you to make money trading in the currency market. How can you take part of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Simply SMS your name and location to this number 0805-690-5612 and our executives will call you to reserve a space for you and also guide you through on how you can be connected to one of the online classes. Once again, SMS your name and location to this number 0805-690-5612 and our executives will call to reserve a space for you and also guide you through on how you can be connected to one of the online classes. Handtech Markets. Trust through transparency.
All right, now, what sets Handtech Markets apart and, what kind of skill set does one need to have, to be a trader? I remember in the early days, they'll tell you, if you don't know maths, my brother, you have no business in the Forex market. Is that the same story today?
Actually, what is needed is the ability to navigate through phones.
The use of technology.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you can use your WhatsApp.
Okay.
If you know how to press, your WhatsApp. Do you understand?
Receive messages, send messages, and all of that.
Exactly. Press something. Use that if you know how to browse.
Okay.
You understand? You need IT skill. Very basic.
Okay.
Very basic IT skill. Okay.
Yeah.
And an open mind.
Okay.
That's all you need. Okay. Because let me give you a very good example. There's a woman in Dubai Market. She came for training.
Okay.
This woman, she's not a graduate.
Okay.
She just came and said, okay, I want to learn how to make money. I've been hearing about people making money. I want to also learn. So she came to our seminar in Ibadan. From the seminar, which is free, she went for our training, which is also free.
All right.
So she went for the first batch. She said she didn't get it. She had to repeat the class. We tell people it is the University of School that carryover is a disease. But the University of Life, you can carry over
anytime you want.
Yes, because the market is there. So she went for the second class, which is free. She understood it and started trading. This woman makes $2,000 like every month.
Wow.
This woman. She came to testify after 1 year.
Wow.
Because we do a seminar in Ibadan yearly. She came and said, "You guys don't know me. I'm the Dugbe woman that sells lace."
Wow.
And she showed us. I was amazed. This woman she's not a graduate.
Wow.
Do you understand? Maybe she has a secondary school certificate.
Well, she has basic understanding,
Basic understanding is key. Do you understand? Ability to navigate through your phone, use WhatsApp, browse is also important. If you don't know how to do that, the first thing you have to do is learn how to do those things, right? And I'm an open mind, to learn. The woman even brought her husband.
Oh wow.
Yes, to learn
as well.
Okay, and once you have that, because most of us we have all the tools required to do this.
Yes.
We have a mobile phone.
Yes.
We also have a data for browsing. You don't need an extra resources than learning how to trade.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting. Now, looking at Hantech markets now and all of these opportunities, we know the times that we're in. These are the times where people are not really, converging to have meetings, seminars, and trainings and all. And the use of technology has been the order of the day. So what is Hantech markets doing to ensure that they can still connect with people who want to participate and be a part of this can still be a part of it?
You see, this is why I said Hantech is different from others.
Okay.
We have professionals. We are very, very proactive. We are not reactive.
Okay.
The moment COVID-19 became very popular, we are the first that migrated the classes from offline to online in Nigeria.
Wow, that's amazing.
The first to migrate. Others started migrating after 1 month.
Okay.
They had to wait to see what we are doing. We are the first. And that's when we started every day.
Wow.
Every day we have classes. And we reach out to a lot of people. We have experienced tutors, that come online to teach people. We teach them from the basic to the advanced.
Yeah.
We also teach them how, in fact, it's a class you shouldn't miss. I mean, you shouldn't miss, because we will teach you the basic to the advanced, and also mentorship, where you see people trading and you can learn from that.
Okay.
So it's something that we are doing to reach out to people, and that's why we are here. We have to respect the government directive that says we shouldn't convert people in order to curtail the spread of COVID, which we are in total support of. And that's why we've taken the class from offline to online, and we use the award-winning platform that is very popular among almost everybody, at Zoom.
Okay.
It's so simple on your mobile phone, even while you are at work, even while you are on transit, you can listen and watch our webinar on the go.
Interesting. Now, how does one be a part of this? How does one participate?
And it's very simple. If you want to learn how to make extra funds, if you want to learn how to trade into the financial market and make money, join our free webinar classes. It's simple. All you need to do is just send your name.
Okay.
Probably location. Your name, location to this number. 080 56 90 5612. If you want to learn how to trade into the financial market, learn how to make extra money, it's simple. All you have to do is to send your name and location. For instance, my name is Mike. I'm in Lagos, so I'll send Mike Lagos via SMS to this number, 080 56 90 5612. And once you've done that, our executive will reach out to you so that they can send a link in which you will use to connect with our online classes.
All right, and thank you very much, Mr. Mike Fope,
You're welcome.
for doing this. And I also want to thank you for listening to the Hantech Markets radio show. We're going to do this again some other time, but always take advantage of opportunities that present themselves before you so that you too can change your life. My name is OBINNA, and I'm signing out.
Keys to financial freedom, so I take now the gateway, answer to your prayer, so everybody can know say now and take market. Lawyers and bankers know and take market. Country the forest market and take market. Pilot engineers and take market. Everybody wanna be free, free from empty wallet, oh, free from empty pocket, oh, yeah.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
You can never plan the future by the past.
He who has a right to live can bear almost anyhow. Lost time is never found again. It is the province of knowledge to speak, and it is the privilege of wisdom to listen. I don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. In the end. It is not the years in your life that counts. It is the life in your years. Make it count with us. Make it count with us at Today 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we are talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
Amin Potakat says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Today 95.1 FM, or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. You don't wake up one day and say, okay, this policy is working, and then you expect it to crash the market in the next.
Cassava variety that takes 7 months.
Do
they know it or they don't?
What's his name again?
Because you can see they are involved.
They are involved, true.
So how can you solve it? What will stop it? They're involved. Look at 1.20 billion special allowance, 1.2 billion special allowance, padding of budget, 4 billion, this billion, 400 billion. How can they stop
Hello,
it?
good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, what's your name?
Yeah, this is Mr. Zion. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Zion, go ahead.
I think I totally disagree with the man.
Today's quest with Annie.
Has gone past the hour of 10. You're still listening to Today 95.1 FM. So we're done with the power of incumbency, and let's move on to another opinion poll. Investigate Akpabio and NDDC prove you're fighting corruption. PDP tells President Buhari. Now, in the PDP, in a statement by its Publicity Secretary Kolo Olokbondiyan, said Akpabio should step down following revelations by the sacked acting managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Joy Nune, who revealed alleged corrupt practices within the commission. The People's Democratic Party has asked Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari to probe Godswill Akpabio, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, over allegations of gross corruption. The PDP, in a statement by its Publicity Secretary Kolo Olokbondiyan, said Akpabio should step down following revelations by the sacked acting director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Joy Nune, who revealed alleged corrupt practices within the commission. The PDP said the allegation by the former NDDC MD that a certain NDDC top-notch said he can kill if Senator Akpabio asks him to do so shows the level not provided any concrete defense to the allegations beyond personal attacks on the whistleblower. Nigerians will recall that our party had in April alerted of massive looting in the NDDC and called for an investigation, which was, however, not addressed by the government. Our party has also alerted that the NDDC management has not been able to give a cogent explanation to the reported Lassa fever contract fraud, through which over 4 billion naira NDDC fund was alleged to have been frittered on hazy procurement deals. This is in addition to alleged 5.5 billion naira COVID-19 scandal, which trails reports that the NDDC had already spent over 1.045 billion naira purportedly for supply of kits and palliatives to Nigerians in 9 states. The PDP holds that any credible administration, like the one the APC and Buhari presidency would want Nigerians to believe is running, will have spoken out and commenced an immediate investigation into the matter if its officials are not complicit. And therefore, they think at this time, Akpabio should step down and the APC and President Muhammadu Buhari should do the best to investigate Akpabio. This is what we're looking at now. I don't know, maybe they're linking to the fact that in Magu's case, Magu had to be removed from office so proper investigations can go on within that agency. Maybe this is what they're expecting should be done within this ministry, the Niger Delta Affairs Ministry, that the minister in charge should step down while proper investigations are done within the NDDC, seeing that allegations that has emanated from that sector through the past MD of the NDDC puts Akpabio in the center of all the corrupt allegations.
Well, allegations, they remain until proven otherwise. But like I said yesterday, more of those allegations are the Niger Delta, what do they call that ministry?
Blooming Commercial.
NDDC, yeah.
No, the Ministry of Akpabio.
Yes. It used to be under the SGF.
Thank you very much.
It used to be under the SGF. It was recently moved.
The PDP's call for Akpabio to step down should come here. Yes, because that particular NDDC can be probed without Akpabio stepping down. Because his ministry is merely a supervising one to the NDDC. If it were where things go well, the president and all his officials, relevant officials to this particular issue, could organize it in a way that Akpabio has no business again with that particular ministry. They could indeed appoint somebody who will superintend over the NDDC, because the rot we are all hearing now is becoming unbearable. That doesn't rack even with me. But as for saying investigate, who will hear all that Joy Nunez has said and will not call for investigation? I have stood for investigation. I have mentioned that every day. It shouldn't be something that indeed will turn around and we won't hear anything about it again. No. But, you see, both Akpabio and Joy Nunez and all prominent officials of NDDC. You see, when we are talking about this, anybody, just like I heard over the radio today, newspaper review, Akpabio saying that anybody that swallowed money meant for NDDC must vomit them. What I said in my own is, yes, you inclusive. Because see, the governors of all Niger Delta states, they should also tell us that they don't know anything that was going on in NDDC. And that is why always I say all political parties in Nigeria are the same. NDDC seem to be them to use and then do their political activities depending on whenever anybody is in power. So right, if, for instance, you are not in power, it won't benefit your party. It's a whole lot of overhaul. Distraction to the forensic audit. Let them not remove the focus of that, because that is the only thing that will throw up all the deaths in NDDC. The forensic audit. Now, if you are saying Joy did this, Akpabio did this, it's two of them. I want a thorough investigation, and this investigation should not be done by politicians of Nigerian stock. No. Invite professional audit firm to do a thorough forensic audit. Then we see exactly the result. So for me, the PDP calling, yes, for investigation, I agree. But for Akpabio to step down So long as the focus of Akpabio as a ministry is not on NDDC alone, I disagree.
All right, go take your thoughts there. Fine, first in a minute.
Yeah, the situation in the NDDC is really, really shameful. It's very, very shameful and embarrassing because this is an agency that was created as an interventionist agency in the Niger Delta to complement the effort of the federal government and the various state governments in the Delta. But now, the commission is just like a conduit pipe where they move billions of naira to, and it's moved to the pockets of the people without it making that difference for which they name themselves that NDDC making a difference. We are not seeing any difference here. And it is unfortunate that this money is coming from communities where they don't even have water to drink, they don't have electricity, they don't have good roads, they don't have hospitals, scholarships are not being given, and a lot of people are living in abject poverty. Why oil is flowing from their land and making money into the pockets of these people. Now, what I see is massive corruption in the NDDC. There are people calling for the disbandment of the NDDC and the money being moved to the NDDC used to establish other things in the Niger Delta. I believe that the NDDC can still serve the purpose for which it was set up if the right management is put in place and if certain persons are not seeing it as where they get money from, and if there is thorough supervisory role, and if citizens of the Niger Delta are involved in the process. There is nothing fundamentally wrong for the NDDC to not come up with its budgets, submit to the National Assembly, it is approved, and then they advertise the jobs. Before they award to the companies, they call some civil society communities where the jobs are going to. This is the contractor handling your job, this is someone is being paid, this is the job is, and there is monitoring of that process to getting these things done. But what we hear here is that why you see them doing the way they are doing in Niger Delta is that if they develop the data the way they are supposed to do based on the money that is coming in, that they will not be bringing more money to the Delta. We have been lucky. We have the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, we have the NDDC, we have the 13% derivation and what have you in the Delta, but there's nothing said that no audit is going on in the NDDC. And the same time, when she says, so I don't know whether it is after she had left office or when she was in office, because I remember that was after. Okay, better, because I remember while she was in office, I went there to submit a letter inviting them for a program. They didn't allow anybody into the commission. That audit was going on. So if this is the situation right now, I think that process needs to be resumed. And an independent, audit firm be employed to do that. And those who are superintending over the affairs of the NDDC and the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs should step aside so that they do not influence the process of audit of that commission. We need to know.
But there's so much under the Niger Delta Affairs aside the NDDC.
That is the issue.
So if he steps aside,
he will be answering questions from aside, like what we have Mago doing now. Mago is aside and we are looking at documents where it's aside. So I believe that kind of thing should come into play so that we don't have this kind of thing happening. And I also do not understand why the NDDC cannot stand alone without it being subsumed under another ministry. I don't understand. Because it's the same thing we are having in the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project, the HYPRED. Moving from Ministry of Petroleum Resources to Environment, you still see a lot of influence being exercised from that ministry and not making the agency to run perfectly. I believe it can stand alone and work well.
All right, Honorable Chairman.
Annie, I'm really in a deep thought because I'm confused because please, with Nigerians, whether anybody can be audited, whether anything can happen here, whether you call it private firm, you call it firms managed by the best accountants, the best financial experts, can we conduct audit in this country and claim that audit is free and fair? I think the answer is practically no. Now, if you begin to look at the issues since NDDC began, all we hear is audit, and none has been done. The forensic examination they were going to do, they have expended over close to half a billion. There was a time I heard that 300 million had been brought out to do this. Where is that money? The forensic audit, is it ongoing? The answer is no. Who is going to be this man now from Nigeria that is going to sit and audit others? That would the Nigerian factor, he will not be bribed, he will not come from one side or one element or the other. I am practically confused whether anybody can conduct audit in Nigeria. The answer is no. Now the issue of whether Akpabio should step aside or not is practically clear. The principle of Nemo Judas in cause as well is an explanation to that. Nobody can be a judge in his own cause. How can you be a minister when you are being examined, when you are being accused, and you still sit down? Files are under you. You are going to control people. It is practically impossible. What is good for the goose is also good for the ganders. Nobody can sit in his own case It is a principle of fair hearing that once you are accused of a thing in a particular thing, the law presumes that you step aside and allow free and fair audit to take place. Namoji Dasin Kosasua did not start with the Abio. Is an equitable maxim of antiquity, and it will not end where Abio is. Abio should step aside to allow people conduct this audit if there will be any audit.
He's not the MD of NDDC.
I quite agree with you.
Right.
He's not the MD, but he's the supervisory minister in charge of NDDC. And now the ND gets approval from him in most of the activities. And he has been indicted by the former MD. So how can you see that?
What happens with the other parts of his ministry?
Yes, stepping aside, they have another minister will do that if he's found clear. Even if that is not, nobody's really appointed, the permanent secretary can superintend if he's not part of that indictment.
Okay.
Because I don't know whether it's not even civil servants are even worse. Because what they do, nobody can even explain it. So they are politicians in this country, provided they are Nigerians. Now, but that maxim, that equitable maxim, is in neon. Is a maxim that nobody can controvert. You cannot have anything affecting you and you say sit back there and allow that thing to go on. Investigation cannot be thorough, cannot be free. You must meddle into that investigation. Certain files, certain influences. Look, this man is still the minister. We don't know if after this saying he will be set free. Let him step aside. When that investigation, who is investigating? Can there be any investigation? This one will die. So I don't know what they're talking about. Because Nigeria is devoid of that freedom to investigate. Those who are going to constitute, who will appoint them? Who will constitute them? I don't know those who have interest in NDDC. So it's a complex, it's a dilemma. We're in a quandary. It's precarious. I don't know the appropriate thing to use. It's so bad. It's incurably bad. This country, look at 40 billion naira expended. No. All the roads, look at the chain between Okomoko and okay, nobody can pass. And a federal government road. We have such body existing here as NDDC. That road is not passable. Nobody can move. There are more here. So many federal roads, and somebody is talking about 40 billion. You have expended 1.something billion to do palliative. You have done this 5 billion, COVID this, COVID that. Meanwhile, the roads that cannot cost more than 10 billion. People are suffering. Vehicles are not moving. A checkbook cannot go home. I'm talking of where I come from. This is also the case in several local government areas that NDDC and the state that NDDC is pretending. And somebody is telling me here audit. The last one they said they are going to do forensic audit, 300 million voted out. That one is taken by one person or two. That audit is not. You want to recover money, you are spending money. Nigerians are coming to do audit. I think it's a colossal situation. It will amount to sophistry at its apogee to say that any Nigeria can come up. Except that history is not in order. It will be historical anachronism if we do not look at the past to say that anybody will wake up and constitute an audit that will come up free and fair, devoid of influence in this country. It's a bad situation. I don't know whether we should start what is called elimination of certain persons in this country to allow this country to move forward. It needs a revolution. Absolutely. This country is in quagmire. It's a colossal damage to the persons who exist in this country. I don't know what we need to do. In fact, I'm confused. I weep and cry for this country.
All right.
It's a bad situation.
We don't have
audit. There's no audit going anywhere. None can be done by anybody. None. Let me see that person that will do that audit in this country that will not be influenced.
All right, then we'll come to that issue of why you said no audit can go on. We'll come to that. So just peg it down. Let me get to Andy Akpotibe here. Andy, let's get your thoughts on this.
So Annie, the NGDC is a cesspool of fraud. And I am not mincing words in saying this. Like with most agencies, most parastatals in Nigeria, there's fraud happening even as we are speaking today. And it will shock you to note, or you should note that even by the time we leave this studio today, before tomorrow is over, you would have heard about another taking place in another institution. Is it the NNPC? Is it the NDDC? What institution is proof from fraud and fraudulent activities in this country? And sometime in 2019, when they do page, and as we were just talking, I went there quickly, on the 18th of October 2019, and this was what I said, probe of NDDC, a good president, the presidency to say that the timeline to 2023, it tells you that this shit is simple. And listeners pay like drunken sailors. That we did everything against what was natural justice for progress in the country. That every involved before they came, they were all thieves, even though they were the people who migrated from PDP to APC. They did not know, they said they were all thieves, that they were coming to sanitize our country. That as soon as they got here, they were going to ensure that this was this, this was this, this was this. And years after, into the second administration, Nigeria is sinking. It's like a quicksand right now. We are sinking, and we are sinking so quickly that from the president